The Galactic Council chamber was built to make visitors feel small. The ceiling was high, filled with slow-moving lights that copied distant stars. Tall seats curved around the center platform, each made for a different species. Some were filled with scaled beings, others with tall figures wrapped in mist suits. Only one group sat in simple seats of metal and fabric. They were humans from Earth. Jiho stood calmly at the center platform. He was not tall compared to many in the room, and he wore a plain dark uniform without medals. His face showed no anger, but his eyes were steady. Behind him stood 3 other humans. Hannah, a fleet analyst, watched the room carefully. Day, a military advisor, stood with his hands behind his back. Mira, the youngest envoy, held a data tablet close to her chest. The council speaker, a massive being with layered skin and glowing eyes, spoke in a slow and deep voice. Earth has requested this meeting. You may speak. Jiho nodded once. His voice was clear and calm. Earth thanks the council for its time. We are here to deliver a warning and a request. Human border systems have been attacked again. Our colonies have been raided. Our ships have been destroyed. This must stop. A low sound of amusement moved through the chamber. Several council members shifted in their seats. One of them, a sharp-featured alien with silver markings, leaned forward. You say this every cycle, human Jiho, and every cycle you remain restrained. You protest, you complain, and then you return home. Hannah felt her jaw tighten, but she said nothing. Jiho did not raise his voice. That restraint was a choice. We believed peace was still possible. The speaker's eyes glowed brighter. And you believe that choice has changed? Jiho paused for a moment. Yes. Myra's tablet lit up as she sent secure data back to Earth. Across the human homeworld, deep under oceans and mountains, systems waited in silence. The silver-marked council member laughed openly. Earth is classified as a restricted combat species. Your fleets are small. Your weapons are limited. You follow our treaties. Day spoke for the first time. His voice was steady but firm. Those limits were self-imposed. That caused quiet across the chamber. A few council members exchanged glances. Jiho continued. Humanity learned long ago that power without control destroys everything. We chose to hold back. We chose to warn instead of strike. The speaker leaned forward. Are you threatening the council? Jiho met the speaker's gaze. No. We are warning the galaxy. Silence followed. Then the speaker waved a heavy limb. Your warning is noted. The council will review your complaint. The meeting was ended. As the humans left the chamber, Mira whispered, They don't believe us. Jiho nodded. They never do. Far from the council world, in the outer human systems, alarms rang through a quiet station. A civilian transport exploded under enemy fire. Emergency signals flooded the void. No military ships were close enough to help. On Earth, the message arrived minutes later. In a deep command center beneath the surface, large screens showed burning stations and broken habitats. Officers stood in silence. At the center of the room, Commander Sun watched the images without speaking. Hannah's voice came through the secure channel from the council world. They ignored us. Sun closed his eyes briefly. I expected that. Jiho appeared on the screen. The line has been crossed. Sun nodded. Yes, it has. He turned to the officers around him. Initiate protocol unbound. No alarms sounded. No dramatic lights flashed. Instead, quiet confirmations moved through the room. Keys were turned. Codes were accepted. Restrictions written centuries ago were removed in seconds. Across Earth, hidden shipyards woke up. Massive doors opened in space where nothing had been seen before. Human warships, long kept dark and silent, powered up one by one. In orbit, Mira stood on a balcony aboard a diplomatic vessel and watched as ships emerged from empty space. Her breath caught. Even she had not known how many there were. Day joined her. This is only the first wave. She looked at him. Will the galaxy survive this? Day answered honestly. That depends on how quickly they listen. In the attacked frontier system, Enemy ships still moved freely. They were confident. Their sensors showed no large human response. They believed Earth was still restrained. Then space bent. A single human warship appeared between the enemy fleet and the damaged station. It was dark, angular, and silent. No warning signal was sent. Enemy commanders hesitated. Their weapons charged. The human ship fired once. The shot was precise. It cut through 3 ships in a straight line. No explosion followed, only sudden silence where vessels had been. Panic spread. The human ship moved with impossible speed. It did not chase. It controlled space itself. Each shot ended a threat. Within minutes, the enemy fleet was gone. Survivors fled, sending broken messages back to the Council. On Earth, Sun watched the battle report. Deploy humanitarian units. Secure the system. An officer hesitated. Sir, should we pursue? Sun shook his head. Not yet. This was a message. Back on the Council world, emergency sessions were called. Confused reports filled the chamber. Footage showed a single human warship destroying a fleet meant to control entire regions. The speaker's voice was no longer calm. How? The silver-marked member whispered. They were restrained. Jiho's final message arrived on all Council channels. Earth warned the galaxy. Humanity chose restraint for peace. That choice has ended. The war has begun. Not because we wanted it, but because you refused to listen. Across the stars, human fleets continued to move. Not in anger, not in chaos, but with purpose, discipline, and long-held resolve. The galaxy was about to learn what humanity had been holding back. The frontier system was quiet after the battle. Broken metal drifted where enemy ships once moved with pride. Human recovery vessels arrived soon after, moving slowly and carefully. They focused first on the damaged civilian station. Lights returned one section at a time. Survivors were pulled from dark corridors and sealed rooms. Hannah stood on the bridge of a human support ship and watched the work in silence. Her screen showed medical teams helping non-human civilians as well as humans. She noted this carefully. Record everything, she said. The galaxy needs to see what we do after we fight. Nearby, Captain Jisoo of the warship that ended the battle waited for new orders. She was calm, but her crew felt the weight of what they had done. They had trained for this moment for years, always believing it might never come. On Earth, Commander Sun addressed the Global Command Council. His image filled screens across many hidden bases. This engagement confirms what we already knew, he said. The Council-backed fleets will test us again. They believe this was an accident or a fluke. Day leaned forward from his seat. They will escalate. Yes, Sun agreed. So will we, but with control. Mira sat quietly, listening. She had been moved from diplomacy to strategic communication. Her role was now to speak to the galaxy when words still mattered. Reports arrived quickly. Enemy forces were gathering near 3 other human border systems. This time, they came in larger numbers with heavier weapons. The Council announced it as a security operation to protect galactic order. Jiho watched the broadcast from a secure room. His face showed no surprise. They still think this is about control, he said softly. They do not understand humans. In deep space, human fleets moved. They did not rush forward in one massive wave. Instead, small groups appeared across key routes. They cut supply lines. They blocked communication relays. Enemy commanders grew confused as their plans fell apart before the first shot. One enemy fleet entered the Neru system, confident in its numbers. Dozens of ships spread out, forming a classic assault pattern taught by the Council for centuries. Then the humans arrived. 3 human warships appeared behind the enemy formation. Another 2 emerged above and below. They did not form a line. They formed a cage. Captain Jisoo's voice was calm as she spoke to her crew. Weapons free. Target command ships only. The enemy fired first. Bright energy filled space, but human ships moved between the shots. Their engines burned in short, sharp bursts, changing position faster than sensors could track. Human weapons responded with precision. Command vessels were disabled, not destroyed. Their systems shut down, leaving them drifting and blind. Without orders, the rest of the enemy fleet broke apart. Some tried to flee. Others fired wildly. The humans ended the battle in under 10 minutes. Prisoners were taken. Wounded enemies were treated. This time, the recordings spread across the galaxy before the Council could stop them. Worlds that had never seen human ships now watched footage of disciplined fleets and controlled force. Analysts noticed something disturbing. Humanity was winning without using its heaviest weapons. In the Council chamber, fear replaced laughter. The speaker demanded answers. Why were we not told their true strength? A military advisor answered quietly. Because they hid it from everyone, even from us. Another voice added, they limited themselves. Why? The speaker asked. No one answered. On Earth, Sun stood before a large tactical display. More enemy fleets were moving. Some species began to withdraw, unwilling to face humanity. Others called for total war. Hannah joined him. Public reaction across the galaxy is shifting. Neutral systems are calling for talks. Sun nodded. Good. Keep pushing the truth. Mira prepared her next broadcast. She knew words alone would not stop fleets, but they could stop lies. Her message went out on open channels. Humanity does not seek conquest. We respond to attack. We protect civilians. We warned the galaxy. You chose not to listen. In response, the Council authorized a larger strike. An ancient fleet, rarely used, was released from guarded space. Its ships were old but powerful, designed for overwhelming force. Day watched the intelligence feed. This is their mistake, he said. Why? Hannah asked. Because they are afraid. The ancient fleet moved toward a core human system. Billions of lives were at risk. Sun made his decision. Deploy the second line. Deep beyond known space, signals reached silent giants. Massive human warships, far larger than anything yet seen, powered on. Their crews had trained in isolation, preparing for an enemy they hoped would never come. As the ancient fleet entered the system, space changed again. Human ships arrived in numbers that shocked even their own allies. Enemy commanders froze. This was not a border defense. This was a wall. The battle that followed was short and one-sided. Human ships absorbed punishment that should have destroyed them. Their return fire was controlled, surgical, and final. When it ended, the ancient fleet no longer existed. Across the galaxy, silence followed. Jiho stood once more before a camera. Humanity was restrained by choice, he said. We are no longer restrained by hope alone. The message was clear. The war was no longer a warning. It was now a lesson. Across the galaxy, the idea of humanity began to change. Systems that once spoke of humans as noisy and emotional now whispered about discipline and patience. News feeds showed the same pattern again and again. Human fleets arrived, battles ended quickly, and civilians were protected. The Council tried to control the story, but the truth moved faster than fear. On Earth, Commander Sun reviewed reports from many fronts. Each screen showed the same result. Enemy fleets were stopping, turning back, or surrendering. He felt no pride in the numbers. He felt only responsibility. Hannah stood beside him. We are being studied, she said. Every move we make is being copied and judged. Sun nodded. That is why we must stay controlled. Day joined them with new intelligence. Several Council member species are pulling their forces out of shared fleets. They do not want to fight us. That is good, Sun said. But it also makes the Council dangerous. Far from Earth, Jiho traveled between neutral systems. His task was simple but heavy. He spoke with leaders who feared both the Council and humanity. He explained again and again that Earth did not seek control. Some believed him. Others did not. On one quiet world, Jiho met a small group of delegates. The room was simple, with no guards and no weapons. You have power, one delegate said. Why not use it to rule? Jiho answered honestly. Because rule without trust always ends in war. The delegate studied him. And if we do not trust you? Jiho replied. Then we will protect ourselves and leave you free. The word spread. In human space, fleets continued to move with care. Captain Jisoo trained her crew constantly. They ran drills that assumed failure, damage, and loss. She reminded them that confidence was more dangerous than fear. Mira worked long hours sending messages across open channels. She showed images of human doctors treating enemy wounded. She shared records of human ships stopping attacks without destroying entire worlds. Some channels mocked her. Others listened. Then came the discovery. A scout fleet reported a massive structure hidden near the galactic core. It was not listed in any council record. Its energy output was enormous. Analysis showed it was a control hub, designed to command fleets and suppress entire regions. Day brought the data to Sunday. This explains everything, he said. The council was not just ruling. It was enforcing silence. Sun looked at the structure on the screen. How long? Centuries, Day replied. Hannah clenched her fists. They were never afraid of us, she said. They were afraid of losing control. Sun made his choice. We will not destroy it. Day looked surprised. Sir, we will expose it, Sun said. And then we will turn it off. The mission was given to a small task group. Captain Jisoo would lead. Her ships would enter the region quietly. No large fleet. No show of force. As they approached the structure, sensors struggled to lock on. The station was old, built with forgotten technology. Automated defenses activated, filling space with traps and energy fields. Jisoo remained calm. Slow advance, she ordered. No heavy weapons. Human ships moved like careful hands. They mapped the defenses, found gaps, and slipped through. When the station tried to call for help, human signals blocked the transmission. Inside the structure, human teams boarded without resistance. They found control rooms filled with machines but few living beings. The system had been designed to rule without witnesses. Mira watched the operation feed from Earth. They hid behind machines, she whispered. Within hours, the truth was released. Across the galaxy, recordings showed how fleets had been guided, how rebellions had been crushed before they began, how fear had been managed by unseen force. The reaction was immediate. Worlds demanded answers. Old alliances broke apart. The council called emergency meetings that few attended. The speaker addressed the remaining members. His voice was strained. Humanity has destabilized the galaxy. A quiet voice answered from a shared channel. You did that yourselves. It was Jiho. He spoke calmly. Humanity did not reveal your control system to take power. We revealed it so choice could exist again. The speaker tried to respond, but the chamber was no longer united. Several seats were empty. In the days that followed, attacks against human systems slowed. Many fleets refused council orders. Some even offered cooperation. But not all. A hardline group within the council gathered what forces they still controlled. They planned one decisive strike. Not against a border system but against Earth itself. Sun received the warning in silence. Hannah spoke first. If they reach Earth, they will not, Sun said. He activated the deepest defense layers. Satellites long hidden shifted position. Fleets moved into wide formation, creating overlapping fields of control. Captain Jisoo's task group returned just in time. Her ships joined the growing wall around human space. The enemy fleet arrived in numbers unseen before. They believed overwhelming force would break humanity's resolve. They were wrong. The battle was long, but not chaotic. Human ships rotated in and out of combat. Damaged vessels withdrew while others took their place. Command remained clear. Enemy ships fell one by one. Not all were destroyed. Many were disabled and captured. When the last hostile signal faded, space grew quiet again. On Earth, people watched the sky with fear and hope. No celebrations followed. Only relief. Jiho addressed the galaxy one more time. Humanity did not begin this war to conquer. We began it to end a lie. We remain restrained, not because we must be, but because we choose to be. Across the stars, the message settled into countless minds. The war was changing, and the galaxy was starting to understand why humans had been holding back. The galaxy did not fall silent after the battle near Earth. Instead, it became loud in a different way. Systems argued, protested, and questioned everything they had believed for centuries. The Galactic Council still existed, but it no longer spoke with one voice. Its power was breaking apart. On Earth, Commander Sun knew the war had entered its most dangerous stage. "This is when fear replaces control," he said during a closed briefing. "Desperate leaders make reckless choices." Hannah studied the maps in front of her. "Several Council-loyal fleets are moving toward the core systems. Not toward us." Day looked up. "They are pulling back. Or preparing something worse," Sun replied. Jiho sent a message from a neutral world. His face looked tired. "The Council hardliners are no longer pretending," he said. "They are speaking of humanity as a threat that must be erased." Sun nodded slowly. "Then they have chosen their path." In deep space near the galactic core, ancient shipyards awakened. These were not hidden like human facilities. They were protected by tradition and fear. Few species were even allowed to know they existed. The Council hardliners gathered their remaining strength there. Old warships, built for total destruction, were reactivated. Their weapons were not designed for control or precision. They were meant to end worlds. Day received the intelligence first. He felt a cold weight settle in his chest. "They are preparing a final strike," he said. "Not against Earth alone. Against any system that supports us." Hannah's voice was sharp. "That would kill billions." Sun closed his eyes for a brief moment. "Then we stop them there." The order went out. Human fleets moved toward the galactic core. This time, there was no attempt to hide their numbers. Warships emerged across space, forming vast formations that stretched beyond sensor range. For the first time, the galaxy saw the full scale of human preparation. Captain Jisoo stood on the bridge of her ship and watched friendly signals fill the display. "All fleets reporting in," her officer said quietly. "No losses." Jisoo nodded. "Maintain discipline. This is not a show. This is a shield." Mira prepared one final broadcast before the fleets reached the core. Her message was simple. "If you stand with the Council hardliners, move away from the core now. Humanity is coming to stop a massacre." Some listened. Others did not. As human fleets entered the core region, resistance appeared. Automated defenses activated first, filling space with energy fire. Human ships did not rush forward. They absorbed the attacks, mapped the patterns, and responded carefully. Then the Council fleets arrived. The battle that followed was the largest the galaxy had ever seen. Ships clashed across multiple systems. Space burned with energy and broken metal. Yet even here, humanity held back its most destructive weapons. Sun commanded from Earth, his voice steady as he coordinated fleets light years away. "Focus on command ships. Disable carriers. Do not target population centers." Enemy commanders expected rage. They found restraint. Captain Jisoo's ship took heavy damage while protecting a civilian evacuation route. Alarms rang. Systems failed. "Status?" Jisoo asked. "Shields down," her officer replied. "Hull breach on deck 5. Jisoo did not hesitate. "Reroute power. Hold position." Her ship stayed in place, blocking enemy fire until the last transport escaped. Only then did she pull back. Across the battlefield, similar choices were made. Human captains placed lives above victory. Slowly, the Council hardliners lost control. Their command structure collapsed under focus strikes. Without orders, their fleets became dangerous even to themselves. At the center of the core region, the ancient shipyards were exposed. Sun gave the final command. "Disable the yards. No planetary strikes." Human teams boarded the massive structures. They shut down power, locked weapon systems, and opened data vaults. What they found shocked even them. Records showed that entire species had been threatened into obedience. Worlds had been destroyed in secret to maintain control. History itself had been edited. Hannah stared at the data in disbelief. They built peace on fear. Sun answered quietly. That is not peace. The information was released immediately. Across the galaxy, anger replaced confusion. Protests erupted on council worlds. Fleets refused to fight. Some turned against the hardliners. Jiho spoke to the galaxy once more. This war was never about human dominance, he said. It was about ending a system built on silence. The hardliner leaders attempted to flee. Human ships intercepted them without firing a shot. Their vessels were disabled and taken. As the fighting ended, human fleets held position. They did not advance further. They did not claim territory. In the quiet that followed, systems across the galaxy began talking to each other without council control for the first time. On Earth, Sun finally allowed himself to breathe. The war is not over, he said to Hannah and Day. But its shape has changed. Hannah nodded. They know now what restraint really means. Far from Earth, Captain Jisu looked out at ComSpace. Her crew repaired damage in silence. No cheers. No victory songs. Only duty fulfilled. The galaxy stood at the edge of a new order. And humanity, unrestrained yet still controlled, waited to see what choice the stars would make next. The war did not end with a single message or a final battle. It ended slowly, through silence, choice, and understanding. Across the galaxy, fleets powered down. Borders stabilized. Worlds that had never spoken freely before began to speak. The Galactic Council still existed in name, but its authority was gone. Many of its seats were empty. Others were filled by representatives who no longer spoke with fear in their voices. On Earth, Commander Sun stood before a simple screen showing the stars. There were no alarms now. No red lights. Only quiet updates and steady signals. Stand down to peace formation, he ordered. All fleets hold position but lower weapons. Across human space, ships responded. Guns powered down. Shields dropped to normal levels. The massive war fleets that had shaken the galaxy became silent guardians. Hannah walked beside Sun through the command center. Messages are coming in from everywhere, she said. Requests for talks, trade, shared defense. Sun nodded. We will answer them. One by one. Day joined them with a final report. The last hardliner leaders have agreed to surrender. No conditions. Sun exhaled slowly. Good. Then this chapter closes. Far from Earth, Captain Jisu guided her damaged ship into a repair dock. Her crew moved with quiet pride. They had not conquered worlds. They had protected them. One of her officers spoke softly. Do you think they will remember us as heroes? Jisu shook her head. I hope they remember us as the ones who stopped. Jiho stood on a neutral world, looking up at a sky filled with unfamiliar stars. He prepared his final address not as a warning, but as a statement of intent. When he spoke, his voice reached every open channel. Humanity does not seek to rule the galaxy, Jiho said. We do not wish to replace one council with another. We believe the future should be built by choice, not fear. Worlds listened. We were restrained because we knew what unrestrained power could do, Jiho continued. We are still restrained, because power without control destroys everything it touches. The message ended without applause or threats. Mira watched the broadcast from Earth. She felt a quiet relief. Her work was not finished, but it had meaning now. She began organizing the first open summit, where every system would have a voice. In the weeks that followed, human fleets assisted in rebuilding damaged systems. Engineers repaired stations once attacked by council forces. Doctors treated those once called enemies. Records were shared openly, not hidden. Some species were slow to trust. Others embraced the change quickly. Humanity accepted both reactions. Sun met with representatives from many worlds. He made no grand speeches. He listened. One delegate asked him, "Why did you not take control when you could?" Sun answered simply, "Because control was never the goal." Hannah later recorded the history of the war. She did not write of glorious victories. She wrote of restraint, of choices made under pressure, and of lives protected instead of destroyed. Day returned to training new officers. His lessons were clear. Strength is not proven by how hard you strike, he told them. It is proven by when you stop. Captain Jisoo received a message from a former enemy commander. Contained only 2 words. Thank you. She stared at it for a long time before replying. Across the galaxy, a new framework formed. There was no single ruler. No hidden control systems. Disputes were handled openly, with shared defense only when needed. Human warships remained active, but they did not patrol with threat. They patrolled with presence. On Earth, people returned to ordinary life. Children looked up at the night sky with curiosity instead of fear. News reports spoke of rebuilding, not war. Sun stood once more before the stars. Hannah and Day joined him. The galaxy knows now, Hannah said quietly, what humanity is capable of. Sun nodded. And more importantly, what we choose to be. Far away, Jiho prepared to return home. His work among the stars was done for now. He believed the galaxy would remember this moment, not as the time humans attacked, but as the time they stopped a greater disaster. Mira finalized the first interstellar charter. It did not place humanity above others, placed responsibility on all. The final record of the war was simple. Earth warned the galaxy. Humanity was restrained. The war began. And when it could have become something far worse, humanity chose to end it. The stars remained bright. And for the first time in a very long time, the galaxy felt free.